Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me. Yeah, why would you bet on Goliath when we got Bet David? Valuetainment, giving value's contagious. This world of entrepreneurs, we get no value to haters. How they run, homie, look what I become. I'm the one.
Who's that?
This guy says, Vinny, I'm not going to show this publicly, but this is the picture that says Shannon Sharpe looking over his phone, realizing he's on live. So we are live. Apparently, Shannon Sharpe had a Kim Kardashian moment, and we're going to talk about whether it's intentional or not. Shay,
it'll make you famous.
The reality of it is, he's trending 223,000 tweets about him. So if it was a publicity stunt, it's working, right? Couple things here that we got to talk about. Taylor Swift, obviously, the results of her endorsing Kamala. Story here says Hollywood Reporter 338,000 people showed up to Vote.gov to endorse after the Kamala Harris endorsement to vote. So that's a number right there. We'll talk about that. Harris supporter Usher encourages everyone to make their own individual choice. He was being asked the question by Joy Behar, I believe, on The View. And you guys have to hear how he answers it. Caitlin Clark liked the post of Taylor Swift doesn't mean anything. PwC laying off 1,800 people. This is the first time they've done this since 2009. And Starbucks new CEO targets hectic store, overwhelming menus. And of course, we got to talk about Club Shay Shay, different kind of a Club Shay Shay. The earring in Kamala's, is this a real earring? Come on, there's no way. There's some people on both sides. Vinny, Tom have some stuff to say about it. Adam and I, we'll give our thoughts on this here and what's going on. We'll have some fun with it. We'll show you a clip on some of the analysis on the debate that took place. Matta had a few things to say from MSNBC. She said Trump was unable to finish a thought. He was very angry, is what she said. Kamala Harris wants a second debate with Trump. Trump said, why would I do a rematch? Trump dismisses another debate with Harris. Trump demands, this is an interesting one. Trump demands ABC be shut down for rigged debate. He wants it to shut down, is what he says. Now, stock market, how does it react after the debate? Expert explains why U.S. stock futures went down with Harris as a debate victor. Keep in mind, stock future doesn't look bright with Kamala Harris, after the debate. Anyways, Tom's got some thoughts on that.
That's the headline.
Drudge says debate was the end for Trump. That's what Drudge said.
Drudge
said that. Yeah. Bizarre moment. Biden puts on a Trump hat at a fire station. Everybody said that's fake. We'll verify if it's real or not. Musk, now flirting with Taylor Swift, offers to give Taylor Swift a child after she endorsed Harris. Rogan floats, which one's going to offer more violence if Trump wins or if Harris wins as the winner. There's going to be some madness, is what he says. Wall Street Journal, a recession signal is flashing red, or is it? Jamie Dimon says succession is his most important task. Why? Homeowner who sold billionaire bunker, Miami mansion. He sold it. He didn't know who the buyer was. The realtors didn't tell him who the buyer was. Later on, he finds out the buyer is this guy. Maybe you guys have heard of him, Jeff Bezos. He gets pissed for giving a $7 million discount. That's such a great story.
Oh, my God.
You're worth $200 billion. You want a $7 million discount.
That's how you save that money.
That's how you save that money.
Counts, $7 million.
Tiger Woods. Guys, Tiger Woods in talks with getting $1 billion golf deal. We'll talk about that. Georgia high school shooting suspect now defends her son in a message to victim families. And then last but not least, guys, so she's a legend. The Olympic breakdancer, whom everybody watched, who didn't place, who was a laughingstock, who everybody was saying, what the hell is this all about with her outfit? She just became the #1 breakdancer in the world. She's ranked #1. Breaking news, which is very, very big. Anyways.
Were you a breakdancer back in the day? Would you hit it? Would you pop it lock?
I watched Beat Street. I watched, but breaking.
Break it to Electric Boogaloo?
Oh, sick.
Forget it.
But I wasn't a breakdancer.
I could see you being the guy that gets in the middle, being like, all right, guys, get to your side. All right, like,
Yeah.
kind of like
Somebody's
being the
about to
host.
go.
Maybe that,
Yeah.
but I can't claim I was a breakdancer. That's probably more Tom than me. Tom looks like the guy that would have done that.
Tom got that
I
shit.
get it.
I just hope those videos never come out.
There's Tom right there. Look at him right there.
By the
Boom.
way, this Saturday, I am doing a book signing at Local 4 Lauderdale. For those of you guys that want to copy the Academy and you can't find it at Barnes & Noble because it's selling out, if you go to the Barnes & Noble at 4 Lauderdale, that is the address, Rob. If you go a little higher, 2051 North Federal Highway, 4 Lauderdale, 3305. I will be there at noon signing books. They also have copies of Choose Your Enemies Wisely and Your Next 5 Moves. You buy the book, I'll sign it. All of us are going to be there. You'll meet a bunch of guys that will be there at the bookstore. I'd love to see Barnes & Noble look outside saying, what the hell is going on with all these value
Oh, it's
going to
happen too.
Anyways, we'll see you guys there. And then also for those who missed the Vault conference, ridiculous conference, the recording is officially available for those of you around the world that couldn't attend. Now you can go to Rob. Can you put the link before or below, or is there a QR code?
I'll put the link.
If you can put the link in chat, or if you can put the link in comment section, go get it. I think it's like, 20 hours of content. I mean, one of the days I went 13 and a half hours straight. There's a lot of stuff about raising money. There's a lot of stuff on strategy. Will Guidara. I mean, it's just insane event that we had. But the recording is officially available for the Vault. Having said that, let's get right into it. Rob, if you don't mind, let's just start off with Kamala Harris wants a second debate, right, with Trump. And Trump said, why would I do a rematch? If you have the video of Kamala first saying she wants to do another debate, play that first, and then we'll go to Trump. Is this do you have that? Or
So I don't have Kamala. It was Kamala's campaign that stated that, but I do have Donald Trump responding when asked if he would do.
Okay, go ahead. Let's play this clip. Let's see what Trump has to say about the second debate.
Her campaign is saying tonight, Washington Post is reporting that she wants a second debate. What's your answer?
She lost. She wants it because she lost.
Do you have an answer?
Well, I don't know. I have to think about it. But if you won the debate, I sort of think maybe I shouldn't do it. Why should I do another debate? She immediately said, we want another debate. That's, you know what happens when you're a prize fighter and you lose? You immediately want a new fight.
You want a rematch.
You want a rematch. The guy that won is sort of happy and thinking about it.
Would you be inclined to say yes, or you
Maybe
don't know?
if it was on a fair network, I would do that. But
I think let Hannity moderate it.
yeah, no, I think
like
that
I
would be
did
fair.
Newsom and Ron DeSantis.
I think it would be fair. You would be fair,
I
actually.
would be
you
fair.
want to know the truth.
I'd let you both talk. I'd let you go at each other.
I thought they would be fair. They weren't, but I felt very comfortable.
Yeah.
We have the best policy. She has no policy.
You see Vivek and
I love him.
Nebraska right there. Yeah,
Tim
Vivek.
Scott.
Yeah. So, what's the other one that you have, Rob? Is that a different clip or is that the same thing? Same
This
question.
is just him later in the afternoon. He's asked by reporters if he'll debate Harris, and
This is hours later. This is the next day because
Yes.
it's light. So it's got to be the next day because if it was that same night, I don't know how the sun came out that quickly. So this is the following day.
Correct.
Okay, go ahead and play it.
Rules. You want a different format?
He probably went to Australia.
You know, when you don't win, it's like a fighter. When a fighter
Same
has a
thing?
bad fight, gets knocked out,
Okay.
or
so he's saying the
loses
same thing
fight.
to the report.
He's saying,
All right.
he's saying he knocked her out.
And by the way, all those Secret Service guys are like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, they officially got buffer, bigger, and stronger, and more intimidating. I don't know how that happens.
And they
all of
had
a sudden.
gender change.
What do you
Look
think
at
about the position he's taking? Saying he won, and Adam, what do you think about it? His position, saying only the loser ever wants the rematch, which in boxing,
Yeah, of course.
that's kind of accurate, right? The loser wants the rematch, not the winner.
Here's the reality. Did Trump win the debate? It depends who you ask. And it depends how you're judging the fight. You know how you said styles make fights?
Yes.
You brought up something very interesting yesterday when you talked about when an alpha man has to debate an alpha woman. And I'm not saying that she's the alpha woman, but she's at least pretending to be one on TV. You don't really know how to go after this type of person, especially, you know, all of a sudden she's black and I didn't ever know she was black. And like, all right, that's probably not going to work. I don't know, man. Listen, I did the whole scorecard. Speaking of boxing, just, you know, you'll round by round by round. And we did the live debate. We had 150,000 people watch it. It was insane, by the way. Respect to the team. But we went one by one. Economy, immigration, abortion, tariffs, fracking, Israel, Gaza, Ukraine, January 6, 2020, Afghanistan, race, black, Obamacare, one by one by one by one. I had it 6-3, 7-4, depending on how many topics you think there really were. But I'm judging it. Here's where I went wrong. Here it is, guys. I was judging based on policy. All right, great. I like that policy better. Nah, not so much. She killed it on abortion. I'll give her that. Immigration, it's not even close. She shouldn't even be able to run for the disaster she's done at the border. But the one thing I overlooked was the concept of vibes and joy. And, you know, they came out with an article a couple weeks ago, like joy is not a strategy.
New York Times.
But is it? Is it a strategy?
So you became joyful all of a sudden.
I didn't, because I see through the BS. I can't do the cackling thing. I don't know. Joy is not a strategy, or is it? So, you know, here you have, I mean, the juxtaposition that she tried to basically put out there was, he's the old, I'm the new. Somehow I'm the change candidate, yet I'm just running the remix of what Biden did. There's not a lot of separation there. He's the darkness, I'm the light, right? He's the past, I'm the future, present, future, what have you. And the reality is, joy might be a campaign strategy, because remember on the debate when our friend said, well, you know, you just got to look at the policies.
What are you talking
and
about?
they're not trying to they don't look at the policies.
So in the debate, she was joyful?
I'm saying that is the vibe that she's putting out there. Because if you're judging it based on policy,
so
straight
you're
up,
saying the
I'm
vibe
saying,
she put out there on the debate, she was being joyful.
What I'm saying is that is their overall campaign message. It's just like, come on, guys.
Right, that was a flag. That's the flag they had at the DNC. She was not joyful at the debate.
I'm talking.
Listen, can I? Do I think? Did I like her campaign?
That's not what I'm asking.
What I'm going to answer is the following.
No.
As far as the winner or loser.
Okay. Stick to the debate, because you're right. The joy is the strategy they're marketing.
Yes.
But are you saying that translated in the way she debated against Trump?
Listen, unless it's an actual boxing fight, there's no clear winner or loser per se, unless you do a Biden and just completely eliminate yourself. But how do I determine who won or lost the debate? As always, I'm going to go straight to Vegas.
Got it.
Prior to the debate, it was 52% Trump, 48% Kamala. Run the numbers. Now, today, not my opinion, go to Vegas. It has flipped. It is now 52% Kamala,
That's a different
48%
argument than
Trump.
joy, though. What I'm asking is if joy. Rob, can you pull up the Vegas odds for Tom? Your thoughts?
So there's a couple things. First of all, for the debate, all these perception polls of who won or not is like national polling. But the issues and did the independent and moderate undecided voters move? That is the question of the debate. We can get through all of the fog of war of who won the debate, and you know what? She looked better than people thought. And Trump had a couple opportunities to really hit hard. He didn't take them. And so you could analyze all that and you'd be right. And the perceptions that are out there, it's like 55-45 that she did better in the debate. However, Rob, there's 4 little charts here I want to look at.
Hold on, Tom, where did you get that 55-45?
No, I mean, I've seen a variety of things. I saw on Drudge 55-45. I saw on several others yesterday. It was like 60-40, 60%.
That she won the debate?
Yeah. But it was like won the debate. It's the perception of it. Well, you can find it. ABC News had a poll. Drudge had a poll up there. But when you step back a day later and they start releasing this, the red line is the conservative line. The yellow line was the independent line. And these are people indicating how they felt during this. Harris is a radical left liberal. What did the undecided do? They were with the conservatives. Next chart.
Tom, first, tell us what color is what.
Oh, blue is the voters that had pre-identified for Harris. Red is the voters pre-identifying for Trump. And the yellow was people that had said they were independent.
Okay,
and they're indicating during the debate, who are you leaning with?
So yellow's independent. That's it, Tom. Go for it. Keep going.
So now, then Trump hits Harris for letting criminals in the U.S. While he's saying that, that's what they are saying. They are touching meters to tell you how they felt.
Interesting, yeah.
Next one. Watch this. Oh, shows the bottom there. Can we see the bottom of that one?
That's as far down as I can scroll.
Is that economy? Okay, go to the next one so we can see there's 4. Yep. Took 3.5 years to implement her promises. Look where they went.
Wow.
And so when you step back, we really want to know, how did the independents feel and did they move? And there's some early statistical analysis for the independents. Reuters ran a focus group, and the people that were undecided were breaking 7-2, 7 for Trump, and 2 said, I'm still undecided. And so that's what I look at, and I'm looking forward to about a week from now where we get detailed polling that comes out from some of the professional, respected pollsters.
Vinny.
I and you know where I stand. I think I'm when people are, you're just a blind loyalist to Donald Trump. No, I'm more about the vision and what he stands for and how much he loves the country. From that being said, from somebody Tom, somebody that wasn't Republican, somebody that's kind of in the middle. If you saw that and you didn't know any better, Kamala Harris won that debate, okay? And then people start to ask questions as if, like, to why? I mean, number one, ABC. You watch that debate, and we said it live on air. It was 3-1. First of all, I don't think he should ever have agreed to, and I get it, he likes to get into the fight. He's a great debater. But in this situation, especially when it's crunch time, 2 months left for the election, why even agree to something like that? We saw what was the guy's name, Tom, the moderator?
David Muir.
David Muir. And then, PBD, I told you before we started this, Lindsay Davis, which I just found out, she is a sorority sister of Kamala Harris, okay? Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. And there's
she's an alpha.
Yeah, of course she's alpha. And PBD, this is her commenting during the inauguration of Biden about the relationship and about a pearl necklace. If it's okay, Rob, can you play this?
Lindsay Davis, Robin Roberts is right. It's a sorority thing. I don't understand it all. So you have to explain it to everybody. Sure. You're a sorority sister of Kamala Harris.
Right. Well, pearls are a symbol of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, which she pledged while she was at Howard University. And the strand of pearls is symbolic of the unity and the sisterhood. OK, but on this day, there's actually a Facebook page of women who say wear pearls on January 20th, 2021, and hundreds of thousands of women are wearing pearls.
So they were what?
They're sorority sisters of the same college at Howard. But so going
her and her husband have a close relationship with the head of ABC, who introduced Doug to Kamala.
So think about it's just a whirlwind, and I get PBD.
You don't have to go too far in the math to figure out who she's voting for.
Yeah, exactly. But to agree to that, I get it. He wants to get into the fight. Trump will debate anybody. He's not scared. I just feel, Pat, from outside, if I was just looking in, she was poised. By the way, and just randomly, you've been hearing her speak for what, Pat, the past 10 years, right? We've been seeing her. She talks like she's talking to children. Hello, everybody. This night, she was on point. She knew exactly what to say. She was
on point as much as scripted.
Scripted. It sounded very, very scripted. And to be honest with you,
what are you saying?
What I'm saying is, I felt as if, for instance, Pat, if Adam was taking tests and he got F's and F's and F's and he just kept failing in school and kept failing in school. Then he takes the SAT, which this was the SAT, and he hit this much of a home run. One would probably tend to ask questions as, wow, how did this happen?
We've seen her in all those primary debates. There's tons of examples.
Tons of her against Tulsi Gabbard, against all these people. She's just not good. This night, I don't know if she prayed to God.
I don't know, because so are you guys going somewhere though? Are you going to the earring place? Are you saying somebody was feeding her something? Because that earring thing is something that a lot of people are talking about. Rob, if you want to pull up that earring, is that the one or is that a different one?
I think I sent you one too. But Pep, and again,
Tom, where do you stand with the earring thing? Because some people are saying that she was being fed things.
So there is more than one news outlet that is talking about these particular earrings that are audio earrings that are made by Nova in Germany, Nova H1s. And the company talks about that these would be things you could use in a debate. And so people are connecting dots and saying, oh, wow. And they also point out that she had heavy, heavy hairspray on the right-hand side, which kept her hair covering her ear throughout the debate. And so
that's what they're saying.
Yeah. So a lot of people are saying, is it possible that she was doing this? And there's an awful lot of chatter. Let's face it, the internet and X can be a lot of stories and a lot of angles and a lot of accusations come up. But it just seemed like there was an awful lot that came up on this. And the photographic evidence looked pretty interesting. I don't know. But she kept the right side of her head pretty covered, and she had that.
Or
what?
I don't know, Pat. It seems
she actually prepared and stayed on script and spent weeks preparing for this.
And looked a lot different than she ever did in any of the primary debates.
Yeah, where are you at with this? 0 to 100. Give me a score on what you think the level of credibility on this is.
I'm actually 50-50 because there's a lot of people that are posting that, that I've never seen them like go way off the edge and post crazy things. And I'm like, wow, you're retweeting this or you're commenting about it. And that was surprising to me that people that not normally do this, Pat, were doing it. But my jury's out. I'm
Tom,
like,
that's a high number.
Okay, then put me 40-60. I'm not
don't let them
there,
sway
but
your vote. I like that, Tom.
Let me just say, I am damn curious to see so many people and the company that makes these.
And PBD, I just sent Rob that Instagram thing that I sent you. There's a quick video of the girl that's at that company right here. Before you play that, Rob, but PBD, ready for this? 50-50, Tom. I'm right where you're at. It's not as if the Democrats don't cheat. So to have, by the way, but besides the bias of what we saw right in front of our faces of them fact checking Trump, which was BS,
or just handing out questions to their candidate previously.
What is
How do you
it?
know that they did that? You're saying they probably did.
Well, I'm talking about Donna Brazil and
yeah. So that's exactly where I was going. That's my point. It's
not a secret that the mainstream media has been in lockstep on the narrative and has been supporting her. And then I look at the way the debate was conducted. I mean, be objective. Take an objective person that says, "Hey, bring a debate teacher from Mars who has never seen this planet and have him look at it, and he would say, what are the moderators doing?
That's what I just pulled up. Can you go to that, Rob? That's the earrings that they're claiming she wore.
Tiffany.
So that's the double pearl hinged earrings in sterling silver. That's the link. I'm reading this article from Daily Beast and Yahoo News. Both of them linked that earring saying that's the ones she wore. Now, that's what they're saying. Yeah. And then the other one is that the Nova H1 audio earrings?
Yes, PBD, and I sent that. Rob has a little quick video, and like you said, Pat, we don't know. You don't, Rob, do you have that quick video of them? This is it right here.
This completely caught my eye. You know, I love me some designer clothes, some designer jewelry, but it's next level when you have hearing technology built into the jewelry. So you can have a hearing piece, but also wear a skinny piece. Tell me all about that.
Yeah. These are earrings, but with technology inside of them, actually. So you can use them like regular headphones. You can listen to music. You can make phone calls with them, but they can stay on all day and nobody will notice you have them on. We are working on a prototype currently, which is also a unisex version. And we also have sound amplification in it, which means that other people who have maybe some difficulties with hearing have an amplified sound, and it's not a hearing aid, but it's definitely going to.
Can you put those two earrings next to each other? The Nova earrings,
Nova
with
ones,
Tiffany.
Why don't we buy a pair of earrings and check it out ourselves?
But Tom made a great point. It's not as if they don't have a track record for doing nefarious actions. And then you have one of them's a sorority sister. The person that introduced them has ties to ABC. Donna Brazil helped Hillary with the questions. Maybe, and Adam, you nailed it. What if? You never know. She was very, very well prepped. I've never heard her speak so on point, on message.
I don't know. Here's what I would tell you.
It came out like an avalanche. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so this is what I'm saying. I've saw it as well. So what are Nova 1H earrings of conspiracy spreads on like a newsweek? Yeah, I mean, okay. So let's kind of go through it. I watched body language. She kept looking at him and she kept paying attention to what he's saying. And her movement of sarcasm, the over-exaggerated movements and the facial stuff that she does while someone's speaking to you and feeding you what you're going to say. And even if somebody does feed you, you're going to remember every word the entire time while you're speaking. I don't know. Listen, I'm not saying it's not possible, okay? I'll go to the second thing that you guys have to realize. I think Trump should say yes to a second debate. And I'll say why. I think Trump should agree to a second debate. Go back and think about how Kamala did in the first primary debates, Democratic primary in 2020 when she destroyed Biden.
Yeah.
Don't forget that. She came out. Can you go, Rob, run the polls on Democratic primary debate 2020 after first debate? So if you can find polls, if you see the polls after first primary Tom, see if you can find it, because debate 2020.
Yep, I'm going to see if I can go find it.
If I go to it, then I'm polling for 2020, I want to see the one right after first debate, okay? Because if you pull up the first debate when it's over with, guess what happened with Kamala then? At least I remember Kamala spiked to like 21 points. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, so let's look at, is that the one?
This is just an article, but it says that Kamala Harris won the very first 2020.
There you go. That's it. That's the point. I'm glad okay, so Senator Kamala Harris on former housing urban market, Julian Castro, were amongst the candidates. You remember Julian Castro from San Antonio, the Twins?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
And former Beto O'Rourke and former Russell are amongst the who appear to struggle. So when you watch this first debate with Kamala and Joe, she was fantastic. She came up. They were like, oh, shit, what do we do with her? Well, what happened after the second debate? What happened after the third debate?
Tulsi destroyed her.
It was over with. Because sometimes, look, in a New York Knicks play the Chicago Bulls, that series, John Starks, right? You got Mason, Anthony Mason. You got Xavier McDaniel. You got all these freaking guys,
Larry
right?
Johnson.
Oakley. I don't know if Johnson was on that team. This is the could be. This is the one where, anyway.
Grandmama.
So they're playing, and then it goes to 7 series. It was go to a 7 game, and Michael's like, wow, because they came out first game. Knicks blew them out. Michael's like, look, if you guys thought we were going to come here and take this thing and series was going to be an easy one, you're a fool, because that's not the case. In his own words. You know what ends up happening? They come back and they win. So I think even Michael got startled by John Starks. They thought John Starks was going to be the freaking MJ stopper. And then when's the last time you heard about John Starks?
That was Gerald Wilkins too.
Yeah, but
Dominic's brother.
Dominic's brother. But the point here is he should take the second debate.
Oh yeah.
Because it's now Styles. Now you know what she tried to do to you. And now the people that need to be in his ear, there need to be a different strategy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about, I think if they agree to the second debate, not ABC, not NBC, not CBS, maybe even, and by the way, maybe not even Fox. Maybe you do News Nation. Maybe you do somebody else that's like an outsider type of thing that you do. If they do agree to do something like that, I think Trump will show up on the next one. And I think they are, you choose my words in a very proper way. They are being too confident if they don't agree to a second debate.
Fully agree.
I think they need a second debate. And I think they're facing the Knicks, but the Knicks haven't won a championship since 72.
Great point.
So you have to go up, and she's not at your level. But you need another one.
But she turned down a Fox debate, correct? She only agreed to it that it was definitely going to be ABC. And that's what I'm saying is, guys, I highly doubt, Pat, unless she's in a comfortable environment where she knows that they're not going to go after her and her sorority sister is sitting across from her, that she's going to agree to do it. There's absolutely no way. And if Trump's smart, I would absolutely never do another leftist
You make a great point, because I think the news cycle is going so fast right now, PBD, that we forget things. Just 3 weeks ago, we were hearing, and we got a very credible leak that was covered even on MSNBC, that she wanted a more informal, both candidates sitting down with note cards, and she wanted the mics to be hot. And the speculation was, which was later leaked, that she wanted to be able to interrupt and interject and poke Trump and make him mad. And she wanted the note cards, the speculation being that she had her pre-written hit lines that when Trump talks about immigration, interrupt him with this while he's talking. And remember that went away. I said, no, we're not going to do that. The both mics are not going to be hot. The mics will be off. And remember, we have to remember that she was very reluctant, and her camp was fighting back and forth on even doing this debate with ABC. And ABC finally came up here with sort of the standard format that's been used recently. The mic is on with you speaking, 2 minute, 1 minute, but then ABC, of all of the biased news people at ABC they could pick, they picked the sorority sister. I understand David Muir. He's their flag guy. He's their flagship guy for their evening news. But is this really? I mean, obviously she was a woman of color, an accomplished news person, but her relationship to Kamala, couldn't you find another one?
And undeniably, objectively speaking, how many times did the moderators interrupt Trump,
9.
fact check Trump?
At least 9 times.
I counted 6, 7 times, whatever it was. How many times did they do that with her? The one time that they could have said, so did you meet Vladimir Putin? She's like, listen, I've met Zelensky 5 times.
Yeah.
That's not the question, young lady.
And she spoke about intelligence.
There was
and
no
when she talked
fact
to him.
checking whatsoever.
All you have to say is, thank you, Ms. Vice President. But did you meet Putin?
Exactly. And there was no accountability there. That is 100%. I'll also say, he used buzzwords to rattle her. I think the best line of the night when he says, you're giving transgender operations to illegal aliens in prison. It's like bang, bang, bang.
Which is a fact.
It's actually hilarious. Yeah. He said, you have no plan. You're basically trying to destroy our country with the open borders. It rattled her a little, but she was prepared, in my opinion, for those attacks. The divisiveness, she said, do you want more of this? But she rattled him a little bit, dude. They must have said, listen, we've been tracking Trump. You don't think they put a plan together? Talk about his crowd and his crowd sizes. The crowd is like, they're not leaving early. He got that. And when he went to their eating the dogs, eating the cats thing, I think there was a very bad look on his end. And she said, 81 million people fired you. And she was doing things. I spoke to other NATO leaders. Yeah. They despise you. You're a disgrace. She rattled him a little bit.
Yeah.
And he wasn't
Rob,
ready for that.
Can you do me a favor? Pull up the article I just sent you. In the article, he's being interviewed by is this the one? Can you close that? Okay, yeah. If you go a little lower. And by the way, you know who wrote this article? Brian Stelter, because he's back.
He's back.
Go a little lower.
What
Go a little. So
team is
his
he
comments are jumping over to Fox and Friends. Okay, right there. Right to go up a little bit. Go up a little bit. The other way. The other way. Yeah. So his comments are on in a morning phone call with the co-host Fox and Friends. He said, "When you win the debate, I don't know." Then he insulted Brett Baer and Martha McCollum, and the two anchors at Fox News has pitched as potential debate moderators. I wouldn't want to have Brett and Martha, he said before
Trump
proposing.
Said this?
Yes, exactly.
That makes no
Before proposing
sense.
Hannity and Jesse Waters or Laura Ingraham instead. No. It is evident that Fox time stars who exist more in the realm of entertainment than news are never going to moderate a general election. That's a poke. But Trump campaign manager, look what he said. Jason Miller said on CNN this morning that Trump has already said that he's going to do 3 debates. Mm-hmm. So what is Jason saying? That there's going to be a 3rd debate.
Yeah.
So then the question becomes where, when, who? That's what it is. And that's what they need to negotiate now. But by the way, viewership-wise, when you look at data, Rob, on the viewership, I think I sent you that one as well. On where this ranked, they got 67 million viewers. I think it's 15 million more than him and Biden. Yeah, there it is. 51.3 million is the one that they did, the Trump-Biden debate. It was the lowest one in God knows how many years. And look at the one that Hillary Clinton and Trump got in 2016. Wow. The first one. The first
73?
one. The first one was 73.1
84 million.
That's right. And then the other one, the record was 84 million people watched him and Hillary. And guess what? The one with him and Hillary, if you watch their first debate, you can hear Trump breathing hard in the first debate. Do you know what happened when he figured out the game? He destroyed her. He needs a second debate. Yeah. The second debate, it's going to be done.
Okay.
They can't do it with one. They have to agree for a second one to do, and let them feel confident. That's good.
Because you'd be in jail.
Let them feel confident. Because sometimes, you know, when you're the best or you're strong and you're not the best, when you're the favorite, what happened? I remember one season, the Lakers had Shaq, they had Kobe, they had everybody.
Malone,
no,
Garrett,
not that season. Like go peak him and Kobe. When their first year, they won. Fisher, Eddie Jones, they had all these guys, right? And the Lakers had a sub 500 record when they went against teams that were sub 500. And you're like, wait a minute. And you want to Chick Hearn would always say, these guys don't show up when they're playing somebody sub 500. Yeah. They will lose by 18 points, 17 points. And then if they played somebody that had the best record, these are the guys that are going to be the Kobe stop or Shaq, they would annihilate them, right? Because so he doesn't respect Kamala. In his mind, you know what Trump, I believe, is telling himself? You ain't Hillary. Like, who the hell are you? Why am I standing next to this person? Trump is, in a way, like, why are you guys making me play one-on-one against her? Who is she? Mm-hmm. That's what he's telling you, because that's how he views himself. Yeah. Well, guess what? You just faced, you know, Brian Russell. And at one point, it's a Brian Russell. Guess what? Brian Russell can stop Jordan for a game, but not for a series. Anybody can have one good game. Can you have 2 good games? That's what has to happen. So I hope they do the second debate, and that's going to be a turnaround, because this first one here, yes, Kamala came out, since mainstream media is all behind her, in the mainstream side. She came out as the one that everybody talks about. She won. But it's good to hear the numbers about how independents saw the debate, which is very different.
Speaking of numbers, real quick, by the way, shout out to Byron Russell getting a shout out on the podcast today. the Jordan stopper.
Legendary shot. 98 is against him.
This shout out to the BizDoc right now, because I'm going to do the words talk number scream right here. Kamala legitimately one of the worst vice presidents ever by the numbers.
Yes.
You know, if you go to 538, if you trust him, all right, use the margin of error. In July, 2 short months ago, Kamala Harris unfavorable and favorable ratings. You know what it was? She was underwater 17 points. So her unfavorable was 53 and her favorable was 36. Okay. Now, Kamala, it's a dead heat. Unfavorable 47, favorable 46. So 2 short months ago, she was underwater 17%. Does that say July on the left? What does it say there?
It doesn't give the date, but it's 36.8.
I'm letting you know July, she was 16 points lower than she is now. 16 points.
That's a lot.
So basically, she came right up. Yeah. Call it the media, call her not talking, call her an agenda, call it whatever you want to call it.
Good tactics.
Those are the numbers right now.
Yep.
Trump, unfavorable ratings, has improved ever since what happened at Butler, Pennsylvania, and the shooting and everything. And then after the RNC, his unfavorable ratings, 52. Unfavorable 43, so he's -9. What's my point? She's up 8 points on Trump in the favorability category.
Yeah.
The numbers are talking. That's all I'm saying.
So, what's her name? Maddow said he wasn't able to finish a thought. He was very angry. Then you have Trump demanded ABC should be shut down for rigged debate, right? Blamed ABC, calling debate rigged and demanding the network's broadcast license be revoked. And they ought to take away their license for the way they did it. Trump accused ABC moderators of unfairly correcting his statements while refusing to correct Harris's, alleging they should have corrected 6 or 7 times. She told an outright lie and implied Harris may have known the debate questions in advance. She seemed awfully familiar with the questions. Despite claiming he won the debate, Trump expressed hesitation about participating in another one, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, look, you know, he's doing what he's doing with calling out the opposition. Did they correct her at all? No, not one time. She told lies. Not even, they never once, and she told lies. They never once corrected at all whatsoever. Never followed up on the question. It was weak. But also at the same time, this is going to sound unpopular. I was expecting the moderators to be worse because when he asked 3 times, I need to follow up, they were not assholes about it. The guy let him have his 1 minute. They did that.
You even said David Muir did a pretty decent job.
Thought he was.
She did a little bit different.
I thought he was like, yes, go ahead, Mr. President. Let's give him a minute. I thought there was certain things that he did. I'm telling you, I just think he needs a second debate.
Can I ask you one question, Pat?
For sure.
This is actually a very specific question for you. You talk about power versus force a lot. It's something that you go to because it's effective and it's real and it's helpful to understand people. At this point, I mean, you even did it at the Vault. You gave a whole presentation about it. I think people are understanding this concept. Where would you put Trump and where would you put Kamala in the power versus force categories at this point? And if you want to pull it up, Rob, you can pull it up so you can get a visualization. But I think this is important because I have an opinion on this, but I want to get your opinion.
Well, if you want to pull up the chart and go to it, if you can make it bigger. All right, let's go through it. Mm-hmm. Okay, so is a part of, does Trump flirt with courage? Yes. He's a courage guy. When you see him drop below that level of consciousness, where does he go to?
Anger.
Pride and anger.
Yeah.
Right? Pride and anger. What was she flirting with? Okay.
Joy and love.
Well, I don't think she. I think that's what she wants to market.
Correct.
And
she was in desire, Pat. I think she was in desire. I think she was in some pride.
Oh, I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. But when it came down to the abortion topic, she came from a place of, at least trying to present love to the women, to women who are paying attention, which that's her argument, right? I don't know if I saw a lot of reason or acceptance or willingness, quite frankly, from anybody. I don't know if I saw any reason, acceptance, willingness, or neutrality from anybody. So this was, I don't know. Yeah, this was a good debate to watch, but if you were to say Reagan doing a debate, willingness, right? If you put certain other people in that category, you can put willingness, the ability to reason. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, something that you've talked about before is you have to sell the dream. one day when I'm the president.
He was doing it.
Okay, a little bit. But then he stopped.
Yeah.
And then he'll go back to, the greatest hits where like, we're going to hell. This country's falling apart, which there is a lot of validity in that, especially if you look at like the decline in traditional values,
I think you need
the
both.
decline in patriotism.
Yeah.
I understand that. Future looks bright, but also only the paranoid survive.
So my pastor said something. He said, man, I remember a pastor giving a sermon and it was about, he says, I would get up there and I'm like, oh my God, heaven is such an amazing place and it's beautiful. And it's this, and he says, all I ever talked about is how amazing it is when one day we're going to go meet Jesus and we're going to go to heaven and we're going to do this. He said, I noticed not a lot of people were walking across and, giving their life to Christ. He said, I went to another church, okay? And this other pastor was like, hell, is you going to be burning up.
Y'all going to hell.
You're going to be this, and it's going to be that, and it's going to be this. And people are lining up to give their life to Christ. So, oh my God, what is... So then he saw those who did both. And it's like, that's the right place, because that's how you got to do with your kids.
I understand.
If you tell your kids, hey, you're going to end up in jail, you're this, you're that, you're this. But if you're like, look, if you make the decisions the way you're doing right now is X, Y, Z, but I believe you're capable of doing this. And if you change, here's what it could look like for you.
Yeah.
That didn't happen yesterday. Not yesterday, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So I think you need to go there, but that's when it goes into fear.
Yeah.
Fear of losing, the desire of winning, the anger, the pride.
He's got the pride and anger thing.
I don't know.
Pat, only thing I'm trying to do when you're doing that, I'm just trying not to get a pow-pow. That's all
I don't want pow-pows.
I don't need no pow-pows in my life.
And the one thing, Pat, then we want to move on, and me and Rob talk about it on The Unusuals. The man was shot in the face.
That's courage.
And big time courage. But Pat, notice how he hasn't been, and I'm not saying harp on it every sentence, say I was shot in the head, but I know he touched on it once where he goes, because of your rhetoric, I was almost killed. I was shot in the head. That's something, that's a moment where you have to say, listen to the American people, since 2016 when I announced from Russia collusion to indictments to I'm here for you, and they tried to kill me because I'm trying to do this for you. That is a talking point that I don't think he's even barely touched on. It's just really odd that he hasn't even mentioned it. This is the one time, Pat, that he talked about the assassination. I think he should have hit on this more. Go ahead, Rob.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a fake Russia investigation
we do have a lot
that
to get
went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay?
By the way, yes, you're right. But the
way he did it was very angry.
Dude, he needs to just go back and watch your speech at the RNC.
The first 10 minutes at least.
Just go watch the RNC speech. No, the first 10 minutes he's just telling everybody.
Which one, Pat? Which one?
RNC, the evening when we're in Hamptons. Go watch the speech you give at the RNC.
Yeah. Got it.
Go watch the mannerism. Go watch the, talk about what it is to have kids and being a grandfather and how proud you are of your son and Barron and, sell the dream of the fact that you came and what you built and competing in a marketplace and, how great America is, the country. He started selling the dream 2 weeks ago. He said, we need to start selling the dream again. It's as if he was listening to what we're talking about on the podcast because nobody else talks about selling the dream. He started doing that again. He needs to go there and he needs to, play this guy. Go watch the position that Reagan took. And in the middle of the debate, Reagan became the leader when he's like, look, I'm not going to let inexperience become a, I'm not
going to let my candidate's youth and inexperience.
Yeah. Is this it, Rob? Can you play the clip if you got it?
I want to raise an issue that I think.
That's it. This is it. Play it. Yeah.
I want to raise an issue that I think has been lurking out there for 2 or 3 weeks and cast it specifically in national security terms. You already are the oldest president in history, and some of your staff say you were tired after your most recent encounter with Mr. Mondale. I recall yet that President Kennedy had to go for days on end with very little sleep during the Cuba Missile Crisis. Is there any doubt in your mind that you would be able to function in such circumstances?
Not at all, Mr. Truitt, and I want you to know that also I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit for political purposes my opponent's youth and inexperience.
Even the opponent laughed. You're doing good.
And then he drinks the water.
That's the mic drop. The water is the mic drop.
Yeah. But that line was ready to go.
I love him.
In the holster.
I might add, Mr. Truitt.
Could you imagine candidates?
Let me see what he says.
The moderator's laughing.
It was Seneca or it was Cicero, I don't know which, that said, if it was not for the elders correcting the mistakes of the young, there would be no state.
Mr. President, I'd like to head for the fence and try to catch that one before it goes over, but I'll go on to another question.
I think he is in the position to do that. He can do that, but I don't know. Anyways, we're not on the inside, guys. We're just a bunch of podcast conversation, regular people here sitting here talking, doing our thing.
Just hanging out.
Tom.
I go deeper. If I was on her camp, I'm not sure I'd want a second debate because
no way
he's going to come back much stronger. And by the way, polls were being suppressed. There were polls that have been taken that had shown her flattening out. Polls had actually shown her flattening out. ABC has been sitting on a poll that's leaking this morning that they had him +1 in Michigan. So her bounce on the announcement, the shift in July, her bounce from the DNC were not 5, 6, 7 point perma bounces. It was just a little bit, and it was flattening out, and Trump was extending Nevada, Arizona, Georgia. It's a fact. They all were agreeing with that. They needed this debate. And to hear that the independent voters, which is the real point, were breaking this way, the deeper strategy here would be to keep her on teleprompters, go into rallies, and not have her do live interview. And for the love of God, don't take another debate. The only thing that can happen is, compared to her past, is she does worse and he shows up. I wouldn't want to take that risk if I was her strategist.
I think it's catastrophic for them to encourage it and do it. I think they have to not take it. I think that's what they need to do. Kamala. The good news is we know they don't watch this podcast, but I think Kamala needs to avoid at all costs taking the second debate. Now, let's go to the next story. I want to go to the next story. Taylor Swift. So Taylor Swift gets up there and she says what she says. And after she says it, what is the page, Rob, that shows all the numbers?
It's on the addendum, no?
Oh, is it on the addendum? It is on the addendum. You're right. So Taylor Swift goes up there and endorses Kamala. And all of a sudden, 338,000 people go to Vote.gov with Kamala Harris endorsement. So, Rob, do you have a video of this, or is it just a? Let me see if this is a video or not.
No, I have a video for the Elon Musk.
Okay, so let me go to this end and we'll go straight to the video. So, Taylor Swift endorsement Kamala Harris led to a surge of 337,826 to go to the U.S. Government Services Administration spokesperson confirmed that as of 2 p.m. on Wednesday, September 11, there have been 337,000 visitors to Vote.gov. In her Instagram post, she wrote, "I'm voting for Kamala Harris," and we know the rest, right? So that bump of 337,000 people going there, and Elon Musk decides to respond because, of course, Elon doesn't have enough kids. So he encourages something. Rob, if you want to play what Elon says to her.
Well, he tweeted, but this is what the internet then created with AI, is a photo of Elon, or video of Elon and a pregnant Taylor Swift.
That doesn't
a cute
look like
couple.
Taylor, though.
Kinda. I mean, just really.
Listen, cats are getting a lot of love these days, guys.
Yeah, they are.
Oh my God, that's a problem. Rob, do you have the tweet of what he says?
Their leader.
Yeah, if you just go to Twitter and just pull up exactly what he says, he said something in a hey, if you want a 10th child, I'm here. I'd love to have a 10th baby with you. I mean, he tweets a lot, so you're not going to find it.
I mean, SpaceX just had something. They just had a guy walking outside. It just happened yesterday, right, Rob?
Of what?
SpaceX had a man.
It was the first private space flight, yes.
He said, okay, fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life.
And by the way, Caitlin Clark likes the post, but she was asked, was Caitlin Clark asked any question, Rob, or no?
Yes, here she is being asked about her endorsement.
Go for it.
Caitlin, you liked an Instagram post last night from Taylor Swift that got a lot of attention. And I'm just curious if you could tell us what that post meant to you, and if you are in fact potentially going to endorse Kamala Harris. Thank you.
I think for myself is, I have this amazing platform, so I think the biggest thing would be just to encourage people to register to vote. I think for myself, it's the second time I can vote in an election. At age 22, I could vote when I was 18, so I think do that. That's the biggest thing I can do with the platform that I have, and that's the same thing Taylor did. And I think continue to educate yourself with the candidates that we have, the policies that they're supporting. I think that's the biggest thing you can do, and that's what I would recommend to every single person that has that opportunity in our country.
No, Scott.
Okay, go to Usher, because Usher also had
Usher's
being pushed, and he likes it his way. But you know, when he was going through it, and you know, go ahead, Rob.
This is the oldest
in this
person.
emergency that we're in, I think that behooves artists to come out and speak for Kamala against Donald Trump, because he is an existential threat to the country. What do you say to that?
You know what? I don't get too deep into politics. I didn't get a chance to watch the debate last night. I obviously have been watching like everybody else. I think voting is an individual choice. And I think that you're right. You have to look at the reality of the country that we are and the country that we want to be, and find the candidate that you feel both are who fits the category of where we want to be. And that's it. And that's what you vote based off of, who you highlight and how you choose to highlight it on whatever platform you have is your prerogative.
Yes.
The question is, does he make her want to leave the one she's with?
or start a new relationship
with Trump?
Yeah. You made me want to leave.
This is what you do.
That's what you do.
I don't know. So Usher, Caitlyn, Taylor, Tom, do any of these things have any influence on the election?
You know what's really interesting? If you were to go take a look at people that study marketing, celebrities sell apparel very well. Hey, I like what that celebrity was wearing. I like the wardrobe they have there. Look at the sneakers they were wearing in that video. Wow, I want some of that. Everybody agrees that it's there. Celebrities have a hard time pushing food because food is a personal choice, and they have a very hard time pushing political candidates. It's not zero. It's not zero, but there aren't people sitting at home waiting to find out, wow, what would Bruce Springsteen do? Bruce Springsteen and Obama had a failed podcast. Bruce was unable to bring the audience. Obama's unable to bring the audience. And so it's very difficult for celebrities in the political realm to support, which is why candidates so often were looking for, who did you look for in the old days? Governors, mayors, and newspapers. Those were the ones that used to move people. What does your local newspaper say? What does your governor say? What does your mayor say? It was very important to get down ballot support from a leading candidate and to get up ballot support if I'm running to be mayor. So, and celebrities, you cannot discount this mob that follows Taylor Swift. You can't discount it. But historically, quantitatively speaking, celebrities get paid a lot to be spokespeople. But if it's not, and I would go makeup with the Kardashians. I mean, it's just amazing the amount of product they can move. But take a look at what that is. You're a wardrobe, makeup, fashion on that lane, man. It's all about it. Well, but when you see that link, those Swifties were swiftly seeking swift purchase of Swift swag, and they were swiftly disappointed. You know,
swiftly done.
Very swift.
Well, I think it depends on the size of the personality and the magnitude in which they can actually move the needle. Okay, so let's take Caitlin Clark. She's part of the WNBA. You know, half the league are lesbians. No disrespect. It's just like out there.
Well,
what do you think they're voting for? Stop it. Like, it's not even close. But she plays in Indiana. That's a red state. So you'd think she was a little bit media trained. Hey, listen, Caitlin, you're going to be asked about this. We know where you stand, wink, wink, but you're also playing Indiana. Let's just be diplomatic here. Usher, other than leaving the one he's with, black man, making a lot of money. We see the trend going towards Trump. Let's be diplomatic. You saw how quickly Joy Behar, like, he's an existential threat, right? Right. And he's like, well, listen.
And why do you pick his hair color, Joy?
I choose to vote who you go. She goes, okay, I like that. Flipped real quick. But Taylor Swift, there's nobody comparable to her.
Period.
That can move the needle. Like, Trump genuinely needs to find a Kim Kardashian type to basically endorse him.
Move the needle. Let me ask you a question. Can we just do some math? Rob, go to Instagram. Go again and pull up the number. What moved the needle? Like, we keep saying that. I get that, guys. Yeah. But go to number 284. Let's do the number, guys. This is maybe the one of the worst, like Taylor Swift endorsement on Instagram. This may be one of the worst conversion rates in the history of mankind. How many people went and registered?
338,000.
Let's do 338,000.
They didn't register.
Divided.
That was the traffic to the site. The
Just
registrations were never disclosed.
So this is just traffic. It's not even an act. So how many of the 338 do you think voted?
Well, nobody's voted
registered.
So 338 registered. Go to 338 divided by what? What was the number again, Rob? Was it 292?
284.
284 million. You know what that is? It's a conversion rate of 0.001%. You know what that is? If you offered conversion ratios like this, you'd be fired. That means no one gives a shit. They just went to the website and left. And maybe they, registered or did something. And you know what happens the next day? Everybody moves on. The Instagram post doesn't have wait 3 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Or 6 weeks from now, 8 weeks. This is just 7 weeks from now. This is just now. This is not as big as people think it is. And it's her audience. How many of those 338 that went for conservatives? How many of those 338 that went for independents? How many of those? You go to 5%. So of the 338 that went, the 5% of 338, okay, let's just say it's a 0.05%, 16,000 people. And then of the 16,000 people that went, how many of them do you think were from big metropolitan cities of blue city places? How many of them you think were California, New York, Illinois? How many of them you think were places like that? Okay, those states don't matter anyways. So then you really take that 16,900 people that are independent or even have any kind of a influence in this, and you go down to it from the 50 states, and you go to Pennsylvania, you go to Ohio, you go to whatever.
Georgia, Arizona, Nevada.
And you know what happens?
Where they're needed.
What is the population of Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, Rob? Go to Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. What is the population of Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada? Let's just write it down real quick, and we're going to do basic math here, guys. This is the stuff that, that's what? 10.91 is who?
11 Georgia.
11 for Georgia.
Go to Nevada. What's Nevada's population? Who is that? That's who? Nevada's
3.2.
Okay, 3 million. Let's just say 3.2 million. What's the next one? And just do Arizona.
7.5.
Okay, let's do 7.5. Guys, you know what that is? It's 22 million people right there. What's 22 million divided by 340 million? Okay, 22 million divided by 340 million is 0.064%. So we're now down to the 16,700. So now let's go to 0.0606. So you know what she really moved? It's 1,080 people.
That's crazy.
Did you guys get how I did the math? This is not like a revolutionary. And then even if we go to counties that matter, if we go even more specific, it's really 300 people. That's it. It's 300 people. What's 300 people? Almost the amount of people that we have when we do a live podcast. It's not that big of a number. This thing is not done. This thing is going to require constant hitting, and you're not going to win every day. Do you remember the week when I said this could have been the best week Trump's had for the last 18 months?
Yes.
What was the week?
After he got shot.
RFK, Tulsi, shot. It was Tulsi, RFK, and it was one other thing. Zuckerberg said the fact that, yes, we did this. He never once brought up Zuckerberg. Like, he never did stuff. Like, dude, somebody needs to sit there, President, like right before it's the stage. President, just want to remind you, bring it up that the assassination attempt was just 7 weeks ago. Bring it up what Zuckerberg said. Bring it up what Biden and Kamala did that they forced him. Can you please bring these 5 things up? You got to bring the border. Bring these 5 things up. If they're not going to bring it up, you bring it up. Bring these things up. It's all needs to happen. A little bit more preparation to adjust and then go freaking campaign, because she ain't going to campaign. You think she's going to campaign, Trump? She's going to do campaign with what?
No.
By the way, Biden was campaigning yesterday for her. You know what he did? Pull up how this is how Biden is helping her out. Hey, Joe. Hey, kitty. Hey, kitty. Hey, what does he call her? Hey, kid. Hey, kid. Hey, I'm going to go help you win this election. I'm going to campaign for you. Rob, do you have the... This is how President Biden was campaigning for Kamala yesterday to help her. You think they want him on the road? Play this clip.
There you go, man.
Guy's wearing a Trump hat.
Want my autograph? Hell no.
Hell no.
Take the pen. That man is officially the hottest item in his local city bar.
Look at that. Oh, my God. Look at that endorsement. Look at the Secret Service guy trying to grab it. You saw the Secret Service guy? He's like, get out of here.
Mr. President, that's radioactive.
It's a joke.
I know, but it's a photo opportunity.
Look, it's nice.
You don't do this.
No.
You don't
even mess around like this.
Adam, he's so gone.
What do you think the camp is saying? Camp is like, can you guys make sure? Listen, he said, your boss is on vacation 40% of the time. They're probably going to be saying, Biden, take the next 2 months off.
Please don't.
Take the next 2 months off. Just go to Delaware, chill out, kick back, relax, enjoy the ride, listen to some 30s music, 40s music, and just do your thing.
You know what's scary that you mentioned the assassination? And Tom, I'm sorry, I don't know you want to say something. If Trump gets shot and killed, they're still with Biden right now. There's no Kamala, and Joe Biden is still the guy that's running against whoever he.
Yeah, we're still living in Obama's third term.
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll close the book on endorsement with a quick. P.J. O'Rourke and Hunter S. Thompson talked about Rock the Vote from 2004, 2008.
Yep.
And they talked in Rolling Stone magazine that they had spent all this effort, all this energy to do this, get Rock the Vote, Rock the Vote, Rock the Vote, and get artists to volunteer time, and companies volunteered and donated money so they could put the stages together and rock the vote. And then they came back, and Hunter S. Thompson was famous for saying, the little bastards thought it was a summer concert tour. They didn't know we wanted them to get home and get to work.
So funny.
And they had spent all that money on it, and they felt that they got nothing out of it. And Bush was reelected. W was reelected. And so you can go back to the annals of time of people trying to get endorsements. Celebrity endorsements don't give you the traction you think. And PBD just took us through the math of what probably is a very, very negligible impact.
By the way, this is why I'm a big fan of P.J. O'Rourke's great nephew, Robert O'Rourke.
Robert O'Rourke's the best.
What a fantastic guy he is.
Amazing.
Shout out to Robert
O'Rourke in the house.
And actually, P.J. O'Rourke, the late P.J. O'Rourke, God rest his soul, wrote a great book about our government you should read. It's called Parliament of Whores. And it was...
Jeez,
No, you should go look at it. It's a great book.
Tom, you okay?
Yeah.
You good?
But who's the type of person that actually changes or decides their vote because their favorite celebrity encourages them to do that? Like, who is that person? I would venture to guess I would call useful idiots, because the reality is an 18-year-old freshman at Cal Berkeley who's just hearing this for the first time of her life has the exact same amount of votes as a 46-year-old businessman entrepreneur in Florida. I don't know. I know a few. And everyone has a vote. And the useful idiots will get swayed by Taylor and her merch. And all it takes is a couple thousand, find me 12,000 votes. All it takes is a couple different votes to change an election. And that's the reality.
And I mean, the Democrats, think about it. If you think about Democrats have Hollywood, music, athletes, everybody on the left, and the media goes for vote. Who does Donald Trump have? Kid Rock. He has Kid Rock. And like you always say, those people are already voting for you.
Yeah.
Dana's UFC people, they're already voting for you. That crossover, I mean, because think about Hollywood, you're never going to have an artist come out and be like, I love Donald Trump because their career is finished.
All right, let's transition into a complete different story here. Guys, I mean, this kind of stuff happens to all of us. How many of you, like, be honest, how many of you are having a good time with your girl or your wife or your boyfriend, your husband, and you know sometimes your butt or your hand or your elbow hits the live button? I mean, we've all done it before.
On Instagram?
Very normal thing.
All the time.
On Instagram, because if we actually go on Instagram and you use the app, first, here's what needs to happen. Your phone first has to be unlocked.
Number one.
Okay, Mr. Club Shay Shay. First put guys, if your kids are watching, I'm just telling you right now, you may want to give them a break and earmuffs for the next, I'll give you 5 seconds.
Go ahead.
What I'm about to play is Shannon Sharpe's Instagram Live. It's sitting on the bed and it's under looking at the ceiling, but on the background there's background noise. It's kind of like the one from the movie Rain Man when Raymond realizes his brother is getting it on in the other room.
Raymond,
and he says, Is Raymond here? Yes.
Or
Charlie Babbitt. Charlie Babbitt.
Sally Field in Forrest Gump.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we've given enough of a warning. Go ahead and play this. Go ahead, Rob. Okay, you can pause. That's enough. You get the idea. All right, so now, by the way,
and that's all we need.
Rob, do me a favor. Play. Is this him and Ocho Cinco?
So this is where Shannon Sharpe addresses that the recording was put out.
Okay, go ahead. How long is this one here?
This one's so we have a bunch of short clips. This one's 2 minutes. So it's
I hear most of them are 2 minutes. Is what I'm hearing.
Because he initially said he was hacked.
Go ahead, Rob.
By the way, the recording was only 2 minutes because that's how long.
Go ahead, Rob.
Event that happened today.
Look at this.
Obviously, I'm embarrassed. Someone that is extremely, extremely private, and to have one of your most intimate details, the audio heard for the entire world to hear. I'm embarrassed for a number of reasons. People count on Shannon.
Rob, go to Ocho. I mean, I get what he's doing. And I want to see what
the phone call. Rob?
You try to make light of it. Nobody was harmed in the making of this audio,
except for the girl.
No animals were harmed.
Well, no, except
yeah, exactly. He's about to say, except for.
She might have had to put a little ice pack down there, but she good otherwise.
He's going for it.
You play a hard game, you ice. Basketball players ice their knees, they ice their ankles, their elbows and stuff like that. Up and down football players.
What does he say?
Okay.
What does he say?
Hey, she might be in the Epsom salt right now. Hey, she in the Epsom salt right now watching the show. Hey, Michelle. All right. Heal up, sweetie. Heal up.
He put her name out there?
At least it's not.
Yes, here's another one. This is
unbelievable.
Because I sent you one, Rob, where he says Cat Williams calls him.
I was upset, but then I also remembered that you're not very good or you're not very technically savvy with phones and computer equipment, all that stuff. So I gave you a little grace, but I was still a little upset. I was a little hurt. But the fact that it was a Michelle and not a Michael, that's my dog.
It's never been a Michael.
That's
my dog.
By the way,
is this Cat Williams?
This is him talking about the phone call he received from Cat
Williams.
Go ahead.
5 minutes before I came on, phone rings. It's Cat Williams. What's up? The first thing out of his mouth, guess what he said, Ocho?
Oh, wow.
You ain't gay today?
So think about the irony. Listen, I'm an extremely private person.
Yeah.
So there I am, on camera out there talking about it on a podcast right now, live to the world. I'm extremely private, though. I wouldn't talk about that. Then she's ice packing herself. Michelle, right? Yeah. Ain't that right? Put your business out there. But I'm extremely private. I would never tell this story to the world.
Here's the thing, guys.
So,
let me just kind of take you
which
through
one is it there, Shannon Sharpe?
How often is your phone closed with, what do you call it, with password protected? How often?
All the time.
All the time. Okay, but let's just say he's picking the music. I didn't hear any music playing in the background.
No music.
Okay, all right, so there's no music. So here's a step process let's go through.
Okay.
To accidentally press live.
IG
you ready?
live. Okay.
Tom, I want you to see this here, Tom. Okay? All right, first, I got to go up. Then I got to go lower. Okay? Then after I look, I have to find my Instagram app, and it has to press perfectly on Instagram.
Yes.
Then I go on Instagram app. Then I have to swipe left.
Yeah.
Okay? Look how perfect they have to be.
Okay, left.
Then here I have to press live. Then when I press live, I have to press live.
And then it asks you, are you sure? Like, you're
sure
really going to go live,
right? So if it's like a 7-step, come on, bro.
Come on, man.
I get it. He pulled off a Kim Kardashian, and he's trending. And by the way,
if you want to get rid of any gay rumors, that's exactly what you do.
And not only that, he's a single guy.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
You can say whatever you want. He did not commit a crime. He thinks he did, but he did not commit a crime. And it is what it is. But at the same time, come on, bro. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on,
doing
man.
This.
Man, so how never tempt a network.
How bad? Adam just went through it to make sure it never happens. Yeah, how many steps did it take you?
Man, I'm blocked from Instagram Live. Can't even do it. How much will this affect his career?
Zero.
None. You don't think so?
No. Zero.
He could start an OnlyFans right now.
Zero.
It would blow up.
Yeah, an OnlyFans.
You don't think this will be do anything?
This is not what Paul Pierce did.
What did Paul Pierce? I forgot what he did.
You guys are joking?
I forgot.
Go pull up why ESPN fired Paul Pierce. You guys are joking?
I remember he had some sex tape. There was
what are you
something
talking about? Paul
ago.
Pierce was doing an Instagram live talking about we got prostitutes.
Oh, he was at the strip club or something like that?
No. In his house, calling girls over, paying them and all that stuff.
Oh, so he just went there.
And he got fired.
This is like 5 years ago, something like that,
It's not
right?
5 years ago. It's like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. It's not that long ago. Don't.
Damn.
Yeah, so.
Hey, Pat. Shoot or shoot, man.
Yeah.
They got to put the ball in the hole.
It is what it is. I'm not saying anything.
What year was that,
All I'm
Rob?
saying is 3 years
2021.
ago. Yeah, not less 2 years
Yeah.
ago, 2.5 years ago. Paul Pierce
Blakely's
doesn't sound
everywhere.
upset at all about stripper video that led to ESPN firing. That's what happened there. So anyway, so that's that. Now, we just covered that story. Tom, I'm going to go to this business story here about recession and what the stock market did. Market experts explains why U.S. stock futures went down with Harris as the debate victor. Okay, so what does this mean? Adam Tornquist noted that the U.S. stock futures turned lower right as the debate started. Correlation: Kamala Harris's increasing odds for victory with the market declined as Trump's odds were declining, and the market is higher correlated to Trump. Ryan Payne downplayed the market reaction, saying it wasn't exactly dramatic, while Adam Johnson argued that Harris's success in the debate negatively impacted the market as she put Trump on the defensive, making her look like the victor and driving futures down. Johnson also expressed concerns about Harris's proposed economic policy, stating if you just look at her plan superficially, it's going to be higher taxes, including a corporate tax rate from 21 to 28 and a capital gains to hike to 45%, which is pretty scary to the market. Tom, what was the correlation like? What do you think?
Well, here's the correlation. And so you can forget about what you think she's going to do. I mean, literally set that aside. The market is assuming, remember, Trump's tax cuts have an expiration date. The new president, if Kamala is elected, has to proactively work with Congress and Senate to extend the Trump tax rates. Otherwise, they expire, which becomes a tax increase. Do you understand that, Vinny?
No.
Like you don't have to do anything. The market is assuming that they're going to let them expire because the market believes she is what the nickname for it is tax and spend Democrats, or in this case, spend and tax, where she is going to be spending. Her programs represent more spending. They need to have taxes to at least get something of the deficit under control, just a little bit. And so the market believes taxes are going up with her. The market also believes that regulation is going up. And by the way, if you read the analysts across Wall Street, they don't believe what she's been saying. They believe that there is going to be a dramatic change to capital gains beyond letting the Trump tax cuts expire. So when the market thinks that some of its net income is going to be taxed away because Trump's tax cuts are just going to expire and go away, that's what they're thinking. So they believe that as soon as she's elected, we should already price in for the next 6 months earnings going down, net earnings going down because the greater tax effect. It's as simple as that, PBD. That's what they're thinking. And the whole market is in lockstep. Whether the people, the leader of a bank or the leader of a company, whether they agree with her social policies and things like this on trends or pick a topic you like, it doesn't matter. They all believe those cuts are expiring, cuts are going to go up, and so the market is reacting. Now, people say, well, the market's not reacting that much. Really? There's been a lot of little things over the course of the last month that have been moving in the market. And the market is facing increased unemployment right now. The market is also waiting for the rate cuts that they don't think are fast enough right now. So they're looking at everything in total, and they are not seeing a strong supportive stimulus for what many people say is that we are in a structural recession right now.
Well, I'll give you 3 points, and this is from Fox Business. Point number 1 is the headline: the markets think, or at least reacting to the fact that, ready for it, Kamala won the debate. So in return, number 2, the markets or the futures went lower. What does that mean? That the markets are basically saying, yeah, Kamala is not going to be as good for the economy. But the markets is not just America, it's the world. So basically the world is responding, yeah, this is not going to be as good for companies, the free trade, the markets, everything that's going on out there. But reversion to the mean, equilibrium, at this point today, the market is pretty much flat. The S&P's up a couple points, the Dow's down a couple points. There's nothing going on. But because the markets are reacted to not just what's going on in America, but what's going on around the world. There's a multitude of factors that are going to affect the markets. So what we can take from it from America is that if you're just looking at from American markets, that they think that Trump would be a lot better for the economy and the markets than Kamala. And that's why you've seen for the past few months how many billionaires have come out and donated and basically endorsed Trump. We're seeing Silicon Valley even at some point shifting way towards the middle, even to the right. So there's no denying that Trump would be better for the economy, I guess, based on the markets at this point.
Can I ask you a question, Tom? If she wins, God forbid, does Powell and Janet Yellen stay in? And how much of a guaranteed recession? Because these policies are going to still stay. This Democratic Party is going to keep doing what they're doing. What do you think?
Well, two answers there. First is Powell has a term. He's elected. He's the head of the Fed, and he has a term just like a senator or a congressman. And his term will expire.
I think it's 2025, actually.
Yeah, in about a year. And so at that point, can the president influence? Absolutely. The president will also, Yellen goes away, and the new president will submit because she's Secretary of Treasury, will submit their new cabinet, including Secretary of Treasury. Secretary of Treasury is not superior to the Fed. As a matter of fact, they fight a lot back and forth. Not like cats and dogs, but they will disagree on things because Treasury is a political position. You serve not the Treasury and not the IRS and not the American people. You serve the president's political desires and the programs on his agenda or her agenda. So that's what will happen to Yellen. So on those two things. And the rest of it is she doesn't have to do anything. She can just let the Trump tax cuts expire, and taxes are going up for everybody, including the middle class, next year. So that's what the markets are responding to. And we are seeing unemployment edge up. And I'm for one saying that, I don't think it would be uncalled for the Fed to think about a half a point rate decrease rather than the quarter point that we think we're going to get in about a week.
Got it.
You know what I find ironic, Tom? The guy, Jerome Powell, chairman of the Fed, running a $27 trillion economy, whatever it is at this point. Do you know how much he gets paid a year?
How much? 200 grand?
Yeah, $203,000.
Wow.
I just think that I understand the president, I think, makes 400 grand, whatever it is at this point.
Yeah.
The guy running a $27 trillion, printing trillions of dollars, makes 200 something grand a year. Just a little ironic right there.
Yeah, go see what he's paid to speak when he goes to Harvard and Cato Institute to their confabs and then speaks.
So that's how the Obamas get rich.
That's how they all get rich. Except Nancy Pelosi. She seems to know today's news yesterday.
Of course.
All right, there you go. So that's the part with markets. Same thing happened with Hillary, by the way. The moment Wall Street thought Hillary was going to win, there was the one day when the market tanked, when everybody from Wall Street said, yep, Hillary's going to be the president, and the market reacted to it. So let me see what other stories we got here that we haven't gone through. Okay, Jamie Dimon. Pretty interesting. Jamie Dimon says succession is the most important task of his right now. This is a Reuters story. Jamie Dimon is got nothing more important right now than finding a succession. So he's focused on succession planning and has a cadre of extremely qualified people who are prepared to run the bank eventually. Dimon and his team spent a lot of time thinking about what happens after he retires. Dimon has been at the helm of the U.S.'s largest lender since 2006. He is among a group of financial CEOs whose names have been floated for senior economic roles in the government, including Treasury Secretary. Dimon previously signaled his timeline for stepping down is no longer 5 years and could be as soon as 2.5 years. JPMorgan has identified Jennifer Piepzak and Troy Rohrbaugh as who jointly lead commercial investment banking, Marianne Lake, who runs consumer business, and Mary Erdos, the head of asset and wealth management, as potential successors. Tom.
So first of all, Jamie Dimon is trying to make sure that the markets understand that he knows he's a legend. He has been for the U.S. economy, and people say maybe this is blasphemous or this is hyperbole. I don't think it is. He, at certain times, his voice is almost as strong as Powell's is when you come to the speculative side. Now, when Powell says, I'm cutting rates tomorrow, there is no stronger voice than that. But Jamie Dimon has come out and he's made statements about the economy, statements about where we're going, and he's taken leadership a position among banking. He's trying to calm the market that said, look, I know that the minute I announce my successor, that you're going to, number one, speculate on my stock, and I want that to be careful, but also on the broader economy. I just want to let you know the timeline. So I think this is Jamie Dimon understanding the sway he carries specifically in banking, and he is trying to do the right thing for the economy and number one for his organization. JPMorgan Chase. Now then, okay, Tom, what is Jamie going to do? Would Jamie be Secretary of Treasury and then Jamie run? I think he's one of the people that would seriously consider it. You think about a head of banking, PBD. Does he talk to the UK? All the time. Does he talk to the Bank of Europe? All the time. Does he talk to International Currency Market? They fund him. So here's a guy that by nature of global banking has a certain amount, not military, but a certain amount of foreign policy, economic policy experience. And I happen to think he'd be, a pretty strong candidate. And he also is known for having a really measured hand. So I think, Pat, this is also maybe him letting Washington know, hey, in the next fantasy draft, I may be a free agent.
If Jamie Dimon did run, by the way, he's 68 years old. He's worth $2 billion. We know what a beast he is in the financial markets. If Jamie Dimon did run, what are the chances he would run as a Republican or a Democrat?
He'd run as a Democrat.
You think so?
I think he would run as a Democrat.
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
What are the chances that he'll be, okay, if Kamala wins or even loses, whatever, so 4 years from now, odds, I'm looking for odds. A person who has never served in public office, obviously he's ran the biggest bank in the world. What are the chances that a 72-year-old billionaire white guy is going to be the voice and the leader of the new Democratic Party that is just filled with DEI, woke, progressive agenda?
You have to realize.
I don't see it.
No, but here's the thing. The Democrats only care if you're white and rich if you're Republican. The Democrats don't care if you're white and rich if you're a Democrat. They don't care about that. Just think about Pritzker at the event.
Yeah.
While Jon Stewart is like, so Bernie Sanders, the billionaires.
The millionaires and the billionaires, they're ruining our country.
I'm a real billionaire. But because I'm a Democrat and a white guy and a progressive, you're on our side is what you're going to be doing. I think this guy's formidable. And by the way, he said his plan was 5 years. He's trying to accelerate for 2.5 years. Why are you trying to accelerate for 2.5 years? Because that's when you have to start campaigning in 2.5 years for 2028. And I think 2028 is the year to do it because say Trump wins. In a way, he thinks Trump's going to win this year. In a way. Trust me, deep down inside, he doesn't want Kamala to win. And deep down inside, there's a lot of people that don't want Kamala to win. Because if Trump wins, Trump only has one term. It opens it up. If Kamala wins, they have to wait 8 years till 2032. So that's how they're processing this. Deep down inside by themselves, they're processing it that way that they're thinking Trump's going to win. I think Jamie wants Trump to win. I think Cuban wants Kamala to win because he wants to be on Kamala's campaign team. But I think 2028 is going to have him, potentially Cuban, potentially The Rock, potentially a lot of different people. If Trump wins, 2028, when you look at the stage, you're going to be like, oh my God. Yeah. That guy's the CEO of the biggest company. This guy's a freaking sports, billionaire, Shark Tank. That guy's a celebrity, freaking 600-700 million followers. What is this going to look like, right? This is going to be interesting. I think that's what's going to happen in 2028.
I'd love to see someone like Jamie Dimon, even in the Democratic Party. At least we'll have a capitalist in there, not a potential Marxist that's in at the front office. God forbid Bernie Sanders is in there. I don't know. I don't know if that's really what he's going to do.
Tom, would you be okay with a Jamie Dimon president?
As a Democrat?
I would be 70% right now.
You would vote for Jamie Dimon?
Okay, let me ask this question. Would you rather have Jamie Dimon as a president or Vivek Ramaswamy?
Oh, no, hang on. If that's no. You said, would I be okay with Jamie as a president? You didn't compare it. But I would be more inclined.
You just got angry, Tom. I don't want you to
I'm not. I'm
upset, Tom.
No, I'm not angry.
Tom, why are you so
the
upset?
answer to the first question is if I woke up one morning and Jamie is president, are you okay with that? And I said, right now, I'd say I'd be 70% okay with that. However, in an open field for 2028, I want to see Vivek run.
I agree. I want to see Vivek.
Yep. If what? If a Vivek again, so you take Vivek over Jamie Dimon.
I would take Vivek and Tulsi as a ticket.
Let me ask a different.
I would be behind that ticket 1,000%.
I'm going to ask a different question from you, Tom, and I don't want to make you angry. Who would you rather take? In what situation against the candidate on the right would you take Jamie? Would you take Jamie Dimon or Chris Christie?
I would take Jamie Dimon.
Me too.
Okay, let me keep. You see, that's crazy.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Tom is voting Democrat. Chat. Let's go.
Wait a minute. Would you take Jamie Dimon or Governor DeSantis?
I'd go DeSantis.
I would go DeSantis because I've seen him run the state and I've seen the results.
Yeah. Would you go Jamie Dimon or would you go Nikki Haley?
Jamie.
Wow. Would you go? This is crazy exercise here.
Yeah.
Would you go Jamie Dimon or Rock or Mark Cuban?
Jamie.
That's not even close for you.
Not even a discussion. Not even a discussion.
The Rock. The Rock is president of the United States.
Jamie Dimon or now I'm going to throw some other curveballs. Huckabee.
What?
Sarah?
No, Huckabee.
Mike Huckabee?
I know he's older. I'm just thinking his policies. Are you going to go with somebody like that?
The white Christian evangelical. Tom, think about this one now.
We've got so much global unrest that what I'm thinking of is Jamie's ability to keep global economies in check and his moderated point of view on foreign policy. To keep global economies in check, you have to keep global politics in check.
Jamie or Mike Pence?
Mike Pence is still alive?
Jamie or Doug Burgum?
Doug.
I kind of, you know what? That would be a tougher choice for me because I think Doug is very informed on energy and he's very informed on foreign policy and economic policy on energy. Doug is, I'm a fan of Doug.
I'm just not seeing it, Pat. I don't see the Democratic Party in its current state nominating a rich billionaire white guy who runs the banks.
He was.
Imagine the narrative.
He was this.
You think AOC is going to be speaking at the DNC?
I feel like
Please
his Democrat. He's running as a Democrat.
The person that I rail against nonstop.
Yeah. But Pat,
to the stage.
I feel like Jamie Dimon.
I don't think there's room
You're getting
for
emotional. You're getting
I'm very
emotional.
I get so
Hold it together.
Emotional.
Go ahead, Tom.
I'll give my wrap up.
Yes.
But I would feel in that case,
Tom's
Jamie
Dimon
is running as a Dem the same way Joe Manchin and Joe Lieberman were Dems.
Yeah, exactly.
In name
exactly.
only.
But by the way,
Dinos.
What I'm saying to you is,
Dinos.
What I'm saying to you is, he is very, very formidable. By the way, go back to Minnect.
Formidable because he's so capable.
If you agree or disagree with what Tom just send him a Minnect. And by the way, if you have a solution on how to bring Tom's anger lower when he gets upset when I ask him some question, give him 3 steps on how to do so. And if you have any feedback for Adam to work on his emotional side, maybe go to Adam. And if you have a single attractive girl who wants to have a big family and wants to be with a handsome Assyrian-looking young De Niro.
Not just Assyrian-looking. He's Assyrian.
Minnect, Vincent.
I like how you threw the young one in there.
All right,
that made me
let's
feel
go
good.
to the next one. Let's go to the next one. Tiger Woods in talks for $1 billion golf deal. Okay?
Wow.
So let's go to this. What page is this on? Page 7. Tiger Woods in talks with $1 billion golf deal. Okay. So him and other PGA Tour officials are in New York this week with multi-day negotiations with representatives from Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, PIF, aiming to finalize a deal that could see PIF investing over $1 billion into the PGA Tour enterprises. The framework agreement, originally announced on June 6, 2023, aims to unify professional golf by merging the PGA Tour and Live Golf. Despite the initial 2023 December 31st deadline passing without a finalized deal, both sides remain committed to ongoing discussions. The timing of this meeting has drawn criticism from 9/11 Justice, a group accusing of Saudi government involved in the 9/11 attacks, especially given the proximity of Ground Zero and the anniversary of the attacks. PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan has emphasized that while negotiations are complex, they are progressing productively. Look, the way Saudi is going, I would not be surprised if they offer a $1 billion contract to Michael Jordan to make a comeback to go in Saudi and play basketball. I mean, they're willing to do anything it takes to go get anybody.
For
Tom.
1 day.
For 1 day, yeah. Well, what are your thoughts about this here with the $1 billion offering and what they're trying to do, Tom?
So what they did is Saudi funded, Live Golf.
Yes.
And it created a competition. Remember when the USFL was formed and it was a competitor to the NFL? And it really wasn't a competitor, but the NFL was really annoyed because it took away some TV, not a lot, but it was just annoying. It was a distraction. They're trying to run the NFL brand, NFL Sunday Ticket, Red Zone, all these channels and run their league without distraction. And all of a sudden you have this small group that does an offshoot, except they're funded by Saudi Arabia and billions of dollars. You got to remember, this is like the third billion, Pat. There's already been $1 billion put up where they've sponsored players, including Phil Mickelson, and given him huge personal service contracts and guarantees to go play with Live Golf. So what Jay Monahan was forced, because guess what? A couple of the Live Golf players came back, played in PGA events, and won. And then Live Golf was getting certain crowds, and they would play rock music. And anybody see the Phoenix Open? That's a PGA. There, you always see the people go crazy in Phoenix. There's a par 3 there that's got like stadiums, and people throw bottles out there, and it's crazy. Live Golf had a couple of events that were on par with that. And so Jay Monahan is like, Pat, I don't want the second league to be around. We need to negotiate with them and merge. I don't want a competitor, especially one funded by Saudi. So they bring this, they say, hey, let's merge and let's talk about making it one unified thing. You'll put money in. But the boneheads pick the week of 9/11 to have public, news stories that they're negotiating. That was just wrong-headed. You don't talk about it right then, because there are connections there that are in people's mind. But this is a story about a merger where the upstart would actually merge with the PGA and put some money in, and hopefully everybody be happy. But they sure were tone deaf about when they were going to have their negotiations.
Well, Pat, I know how much you absolutely love golf.
No question.
Every weekend.
On Sunday, you can't even talk to the guy.
It's just like every Sunday.
Don't bother me when I'm golfing.
Forget it.
4 to 8 hours every Tuesday.
6 hours away from the family.
Get to work, Pat. Yeah. I mean, stop.
I've been doing it since Iran. Iran was big on golf, so it's like
he loves playing in the sand.
A lot of bunkers.
A lot of bunkers. Right. Everything's blowing up there. It's great. Look, I've been to a Live Golf tournament here in Miami. We were invited by our friend, and we went there.
Guys, Adam is connected. Just so you guys,
just FYI,
to
golf,
just a little nobody that sometimes gets invited places, and when I do mention it, I get shit on. But other than that,
so we have angry Tom today, sensitive feelings,
and I'm the angry patron. I'm just chill.
You're not. You
want my shirt, Tom?
By the way, dude, you're like in that level of consciousness. You're going willingness.
I'm willingness, joy, and love. Joy.
You're like the passive patriot over here. Let's step it up a little bit, guy.
Take my shirt off.
Stop talking crap about the shirt. Let Adam finish.
What Live Golf is doing is an extension of what Saudi is doing. So if you're paying attention to what's going on in Saudi these days, first and foremost, they are the number one, basically opponent versus Iran in that region. They're basically jockeying for position for who's number one in that region. And then you have Turkey sort of on the European side of things. We'll see what they do. But Saudi basically had to make a decision, and they said, listen, Saudi Aramco is one of the top 5 market cap companies in the world. I think they're $2 trillion. I mean, they're massive.
Yep.
But that's their entire economy in Saudi. So the public investment fund, they basically said, listen, we need to diversify. We need to, after the whole Jamal Khashoggi, how do you say his last name?
Khashoggi.
Khashoggi. So I apologize.
The reporter
from Turkey.
After that, they said we need to basically go on a PR offensive and show the world that we're not this type of person. And we can talk about what happened with Khashoggi and what happened. And
I was just upset. It was a crazy afternoon.
But they've went out there and they've been spending money on a sort of PR campaign to basically make Saudi look cool and welcome them. How many fights are going on in Saudi? The UFC's been out there. Didn't Tyson Fury do his fight out there with Nagano? They're doing fights. They're basically getting into the sports world.
Sport washing or something?
They're sport washing, basically. A great point. But they started this Live Golf thing, and we've spent time with Majid and also the guy that runs the Saudi Wealth Fund. His name is Yasser. I'm just with Majid. But they're basically saying we got to get out there and show the world that we're more than just oil and Wahhabi Islam. And they've put out there...
Habibi.
Oh, my goodness. So they basically... We're negotiating with the PGA. They came out there and they said, listen, we're going to try to compete. We'd like to join forces. Hell no, we're not doing this. It's like a new upstart league trying to join forces with the NFL. Now, at this point, Live Golf is basically neck and neck with the PGA, and they're splashing money around. They went and they got their CEO, Greg Norman, the Shark. They went and got players. You said Phil Mickelson. They got Dustin Johnson. You get Bryson DeChambeau out here in Miami, Brooks Koepka, Patrick Reed, Sergio Garcia, Bubba Watson. They're just splashing money. So you go to a guy. Imagine you're this guy. Ready for a case example? Hey, Phil, what's your total earnings ever from playing in the PGA? $200 million. Total over 20 years. Cool. We're going to pay you $200 million over the next losses. 2 years.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
I'm going, guess what?
And we see, didn't Cristiano Ronaldo go play for Saudi? Didn't other players go play with Saudi?
Yeah.
They're throwing money around. They're buying the marketplace, and money talks and BS walks.
All right. So let's see what will take place there.
And by the way, do you know who invested in Jared Kushner? $2 billion from the Saudi Wealth Fund.
Same guys?
Same guys.
All right, so let's go through. I'm going to do one other story before we wrap up. So which story should we go to? Should we go to PwC, Starbucks? Should we go Georgia? Should we go
Georgia's which one?
Rogan? Do you want to go to Georgia high school shooting suspect's mom defends her son? You want me to go to that one?
Yeah, because I didn't even hear about the mom.
In message to victims' families. So let me read this to you. Very weird what happened. Tragic, obviously, but very weird what happens here. So Marcy Gray, the mother of the 14-year-old shooter, Colt Gray, apologized to the victims' families, writing, I want to say that I'm so sorry from the bottom of my heart. If I could take the place of Mason and Christian, I would without a second do it. And heartbreaks for the two teachers who gave their lives. On the day of the shooting, Marcy had warned the school counselor after receiving a message from Colt saying, I'm sorry, Mom. While his father received similar texts, I'm sorry, and you're not to blame for this. In her letter, Marcy described Colt as quiet, thoughtful, caring, funny, and extremely intelligent, and added, we're all living in a nightmare. My son Colt is not a monster. And with father of suspect charged in Georgia shooting, will more parents be held responsible? This is one of the things we've been talking about a lot. Colin Gray, 54, faces involuntary manslaughter and second-degree murder charges after his son Colt, 14, used a semi-automatic rifle in Georgia school shooting that killed 4 and injured 9. The father's charges stem from allowing his son access to the weapon. The case follows the landmark Michigan prosecution of James and Jennifer Crumbley, who were sentenced to 10 years. We talked about that story. The Oxford High School in 2021. Legal experts suggest more parents could be held accountable for negligible involving firearms, as seen in Michigan's new law requiring locked up guns around minors. Vinny.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously tragedy. He was charged with 4 counts of felony murder. He killed 2 teachers and 2 students, and he injured life-threatening injuries to 9 other people. But you know what bothers me that we hear more than often, Pat, is that the FBI had this dude on their radar, okay? And Rob, can you pull up the letter? This is a joint letter from the FBI Atlanta and the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. This kid, they're basically saying, like, this guy he's made threats. He threatened about this stuff. The FBI put him on the 2023 terror threats for plotting to shoot up another school in Jackson, Georgia. He was interviewed by the FBI after they received several anonymous tips about his alleged online threats to commit a school shooting. And then there's a video of law enforcement, Pat, visiting his home. And I sent it to Rob. This is the 2-minute one. Yep. And if you could put on speed 1 point, whatever, they're coming to the house, Tom, and they're like, hey, listen, you're making these threats. The father, before this video actually was like, he's like, if this is true, I can't believe it. Let me bring him out here. And he goes on to say, just from his word, he goes, you're not really going to shoot up a school or anything right now. And he goes, no, he goes, I'm going to take you for your word for it. And that's it. Rob, play this video.
Hey, Colt, what's going on? Saying that somebody from your old address over there in Traditions, they made a threat to shoot up a school.
For real?
Yes, sir.
What? Tell me what.
You have any kids or anything living with you?
Colt, right?
Colt?
Yeah, Colt. He's my oldest son.
How old is he?
He's 13.
Do you have weapons in the house?
I do.
I have weapons.
Accessible to him?
They are. I mean, there's nothing loaded, but they are there. We do a lot of shooting. We do a lot of deer hunting. He shot his first deer this year. Yeah. You know, so like I'm pretty much in shock, to be honest with you. Well, I'm a little pissed off, to be even really honest with you. I don't know anything about him saying like that. I'm gonna be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible to him. You know, I'm trying to be honest with you. I'm trying to teach him about firearms and safety and how wherever this has come from, it's no joke. Yeah. Like, it's no joke.
But we wouldn't be here if it was.
No, I know. And I'm telling you right now, we talk about it quite a bit. Okay. All the school shootings, things that happen.
Yeah, scary.
Are you getting picked on at school? He is. He's getting picked on at school. Just
hey, Colt, what's going on, bud?
Is that him on the left?
That's a kid.
So did your dad kind of explain everything to you?
Both of them are wearing a cross out on their shirts.
Did you say something about school shooting?
I just told him, I don't know, but maybe they misheard somebody else.
They misheard somebody else.
never ever said. I swear, I'd hate to. Yeah, my boss was leaving like, I don't know how old this information is, and if you want to wait till Monday to follow up, I was like, nah, I got to do it now.
He's basically saying, did you say
something happened? I didn't do my job. I feel pretty bad about that. Take it to work, and I hope you're being honest with me. I'm not saying you're lying, but it's not unusual for people to lie.
This is a year and a half ago.
Yes, that's what you're telling me. I got no choice but to take it to work. Right?
I'm taking your word.
But like I was telling your dad, if we find out otherwise, then it's a different story. Okay,
it's a really different story.
So exactly, Pat. So this is a year before the shooting. The FBI has him on a list because he's making threats of shooting a school. So they send the sheriff to the house just to say, hey, listen, did you really say that? Are you going to do that? No. And he goes, well, I'm going to take your word for it. Okay. And what people need to understand is like the father has these guns. They're available to somebody that's threatening. And I'm sorry, you got to take action. What's that, Tom?
Read the quote from the grandfather.
The grandfather says, which one is it? Right here?
Yeah, highlighted.
Palmas believes that Colt was driven by his father to commit the crime, stating, Colt has to pay for what he did. He was driven, no question in my mind. He describes his grandson as a good kid before being influenced by a dysfunctional dad who was a screamer and a hollerer. And I mean, it doesn't help that he's getting picked on at school as well. But it's just the last time this, like you said, Pat, happened in Michigan. I'm so happy that they're keeping having the parents accountable for this. And it's like the FBI. How many more times do we have to hear that they have somebody on radar that is threatening to shoot up a school, and then nothing happens? No, they go on and they do the crime. Okay, and I think the schools, guys, we protect. Everybody gets protected. Everywhere you go, all the people from Congress, everybody has an armed guard with them. Why is it when it comes to our children in these schools, there's zero protection for these children? And I hate when people say that we don't have the money, the resources. We are giving hundreds of billions of dollars for countries around the world that, I'm sorry to say it, sometimes there's wars and children are getting killed. Why not take that money, use our resources, hire people to come in these schools, metal detectors, have some people walk around that are armed to prevent it? I think it's a no-brainer, Tom.
We can protect passengers on airplanes, attendees, fans coming to an NFL game, anybody walking to any stadium. Hey, we just had an event, and since it was a large event, we had appropriate security at the vault.
Yeah.
Very appropriate, regular stuff because of the age in which we live. Mm-hmm. And what galls me is that, I mean, you could go back and do the autopsy on the relationship with the father and the son there and see what the granddad is saying, and you can see a lot of red lights flashing. But why don't we make the schools tougher, harder targets? That's all I want. If we do it for football games, we do it for baseball games, you do it for NBA games, you do it for college football games, you do it when you get on an airplane, you do it if you go to a public event, and some churches are doing it now. And says, why can't we do it for schools? That way, regardless of what's happening at home, regardless of what's happening with the parents, and we want to get a hold of that, we are making our targets tougher and safer.
And I agree, but the fact that a law enforcement officer just takes his word that he's not going to go through with the freaking massacre, like, what are you talking about? He's saying he wants to shoot up a school. It's over, Pat. Me personally, I would have said to the father, we have to get rid of every single gun in your possession because of your child making terrorist threats.
Did the father sound convincing?
Not a little bit, but he's holding a beer, so it's hard to take him serious.
Was he hiding behind the door? Or did he walk out to talk to the officer?
No, he walked out to talk to the officer, but at the same token,
So you're asking the officers to do a little bit of mind reading, and then he comes out on the porch, he sits down, he doesn't run for them, he doesn't say, you guys have a warrant, what are you guys doing here at my house? He sits down, he said, no, I take this very serious, this is very serious. We have these conversations, and he's very folksy, and he's trying to identify one. Matter of fact, we go hunting. He had his first deer this year. So in the realm of that, what do the officers have to work with at that moment?
I know. I'm saying the child admitting, and the father saying, okay, he was bullied. The father's drinking. I'm just trying to piece everything together. The father's drinking a beer. He's bullied in school often, and now he's making terrorist threats to shoot up the school. Tom, it has nothing to do with the father. Meaning, I understand he has something to do with it, but my thing is, you can't have guns at your house now. I'm sorry, because he's saying, yeah, he has access to them, but they're not loaded. You could get bullets easy anywhere.
Penny, do you know how many parents in the West, do you know how many parents in farmland, in country land, have guns laying around in the kitchen, in the drawer, in the above? I mean, it's literally everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not like, and they're loaded most of the time.
Of course.
It's not like, so if somebody comes in, they're ready to light it up, right? So I don't know. I don't know if this is like the only father that is doing this in the West or in the country.
But is a kid getting caught by the FBI for threatening to shoot the schools? What I'm saying is he's giving you the warning sign. I want to shoot up the school, and then you just go, okay, you're not going to do it, right? And then you just let him go. What
should they do? I'm actually curious what you think they should do.
I'm sorry, PBD. If you make a terrorist threat like that, even if you're underage, I mean, besides being on high alert, that kid cannot go to that school. You can't go to that school again. And I'm talking the father's guns, Pat. I'm sorry, you can't have guns in this house. Like, something has to be done. Yes. I don't know what the legality part of it is, but I'm actually happy, though, because now the father was arrested, Tom, for manslaughter charges, correct? For all 4 of the people deceased?
Because what he said that the guns were secured when they came to his house, he's being arrested for failure to control the firearms.
Yeah. So, and I get
and subsequently, because those firearms are used in this horrible, heinous crime, he is subject to the manslaughter charge.
And Pat, you nailed it. I was stationed in Great Falls, Montana. Everywhere there was guns, everywhere. But when you're a child, and I'm sorry, this is the upbringing. If your child is threatening to shoot up a school and then he goes through with it, it's going to have to fall on you. You gave him access.
Well, it is. That's why
I agree with Vinny.
The father's been arrested.
Yeah,
I agree with Vinny. There needs to be drastic change here. How old do you have to be to buy a gun, purchase it? 18, 21?
It depends on the state, but and then it's a 10-day waiting period, sometimes more. So they want to make sure you're not buying it to go kill somebody right then and there.
The short answer is 18.
Okay, so no one under 18 should be able to have a gun, and you can shoot a gun, I assume, with parental supervision. I would assume that's how that works. Kind of like when you're 15, you're driving a car.
No, I think if you're 18 years old, you could buy a gun. You can go to a range.
Under 18.
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, I think there needs to be a drastic change because the problem, it's just getting worse. Tom, you talk about case studies and following the trends. Rob, if you pull up this thing from WAPO right here, it all started with Columbine. I remember I graduated high school right around that, 1999. And Columbine happened, and we're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, that's crazy.
School shooting, Aurora, everything. But here's the spot map of basically everything that's happened. It's getting more and more and more and more. And 2023, this past year, is the largest part of the graph. So meaning there's only becoming more school shootings than ever. It says here 417 school shootings have been since 1999, which was Columbine, where those two guys in cloaks, black cloaks, came in and just shot up the school. 383,000 students have experienced gun violence at school. And look at our, we say, the most important, precious things in our lives are our children. Why aren't we doing anything? Yeah. You talk about Gen Z, what's going on with them, their anxiety, depression, social media, drugs, oh my God, all that. How much did this play into this effect? How much is the fact that you got to go to school to learn, you got your book bags, you're ready to go? And even the fact you're like, today might be my last day on earth while I'm in class, that is the reality of being in school, in public schools.
That's scary.
And you saw what J.D. Vance said the other day, and he's like, I don't know how to tell you this, but I don't feel good saying it. But our schools are soft targets.
They are. Gun-free zones are where people...
So, if you're following the trends, unfortunately, I don't see this with any joy in my heart. It is going to happen next week. It's going to happen next month. It's sad to see, but this is the reality of living in America. But listen, let's not do anything different, guys.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's not do anything different.
What do you
let's
think?
just
if you're saying
let's just have thoughts and prayers.
What solutions do you have?
I'm not here to do this, to offer solutions. What I'm saying is I'm an advocate for the same can't continue. If you're a school, like, number one, start with the schools.
Yeah.
What are the schools doing different?
There's no metal
They came up with ideas that are, in my opinion, 0% helpful, arming the teachers. Now a teacher who's never even shot a gun in their life, who's supposed to be doing science class. All right, then you see things like this. All right, here's a door. All right, cool. They're developing technology. Let's let the free markets help out our schools, because clearly government is doing nothing.
Well,
who do you think developed this? The government or an entrepreneur?
No, probably an entrepreneur.
I'm assuming it's an entrepreneur. But what needs to be done different?
But Adam, but here's the thing. Nothing is being done. When you say they're just going to give a gun to a science teacher, it's not that. They're giving it to people that are trained, that know how to use it. But here's the thing. Besides the teachers, why not? We have billions. Adam, how much did we give just to Ukraine in the past 4 years? $200 billion. Don't tell me we can't hire ex-veterans that obviously don't have, mental issues or PTSD. Put one, dude, just a deterrent. If you know that there's going to be an armed person in the school, you're going to think twice. If there's a metal detector and you're nailing it, let's do something, because just not doing anything isn't helping.
I'm gonna almost sound contradictory right now because I'm just trying to find a solution here. Because you know how they say weapons don't kill people, people kill people. We see the stabbings that are going on in the UK. We see this. They're gonna find a way. If you take away the guns, you take away the knives, they're gonna take a car and run you over. They're gonna. So the mother says, "My son Colt is not a monster." No, he is. He decided to go to school one day, and shoot up the school, kill 4 people.
So there's a few things,
and injure 9 people.
Let me ask you
you're
a
a
question.
monster.
Let me
bro.
ask you a question. Were you ever bullied in school? Ever?
Yes.
Whatever age?
Big time.
Yeah, and we all have. Everyone's dealt with bullies.
I know, but who did you talk to? Who did you talk to?
My mom.
You did. Who'd you talk to? Who'd you talk to?
My dad.
Who did you talk to?
I would go right up to the bully and start a fight.
I'm honestly.
Literally, I'm like, yeah, well, let's go, bro. If you're going to get bullied.
How old were you the first time you were bullied?
Middle school. No, in elementary school, nobody was messing with me. But in middle school, there used to be something called Cracker Day in Miami in middle school.
What's Cracker Day?
Yeah, well, lucky you ain't a cracker, Pat. You would go get beat up.
Tom was like,
it has nothing to do
Tom, you wouldn't last a minute, Cracker Day.
So it has nothing to do with saltines or Ritz.
Tom, you wouldn't last a minute.
Tell him, Tom, Adam, what
Cracker
is it?
Knockout Day. Floridians, have you ever heard of Cracker? You used to get roughed up.
Preston, when we went to school, it was crackers.
This is DEI on steroids. What does it say here? I'm watching Comedy Central.
Nigel, you killed me.
Because I was always like the one white kid on the black basketball team. So I was in the mix here, but you would get in fights. You'd get bullied.
Yeah.
But you have to stand up to bullies. You might get your ass whooped, but show up to school the next day, show up to the court the next day.
But Pat, where are we going?
These days, you now can react and you get bullied. You go shoot up the school.
What I'm saying is, when you're bullied, who do you talk to? Okay. You talk to who? A mom or a dad or somebody, right? Sometimes you don't talk to somebody. You're embarrassed. If the father, if the mother, whatever, so you don't bring it to anybody. Mm-hmm. The kids who don't talk to anybody when they're being bullied, or in school when someone's being bullied and you don't handle it properly. So how do you create an environment where that bully can be managed? Because it's the bully that drives somebody to make a decision like this. So one, parents are responsible. Two, kids are responsible. What are you going to do? Bully's responsible. So are you going to say, let's eliminate all bullies? That's not going to happen. Bully's not going away. Schools, you need more cameras, accountability, snitching, telling each other, hey, that kid's bullying the other person. So that's the problem right there. So how do you handle bullying? So then the other one is talking to parents, values, principle, protection, love. And then it's the kid, right? I remember many years ago when I was talking to this guy and I asked him the question about pull the trigger. This guy I interviewed, when his job, dude, the guy had the weirdest job. His job was, he was a Jim Clemente. Can you pull up Jim Clemente, Rob? Go type in Jim Clemente. Jim Clemente. Yeah, right there. What's his job? Zoom in and let's see what his job is. His job was, zoom in, FBI, American author, New York Times, profiler, podcast coach or something. No, but he was something else. Go lower. This guy would interview people right after they killed somebody.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
And you're being accused of the person that you killed. Clemente worked at the FBI 22 years, but he was an expert on child sexual abuse, victimization, abduction, and homicide. He's also an expert in criminal behavior profiling. So you're being accused of killing your wife. He would sit right next. He would interview first. He worked undercover, multi-award. So I have him on a podcast. And I asked him, I said, these serial killers, what gets somebody to be a serial killer? I'll never forget what he said. I wrote it down in my notes, so I have it here. He says, nature versus nurture, right? He says, genetics loads the gun.
Wow.
Genetics loads the gun. And genetics is who?
Your father, your grandfather,
here,
your blood.
Nature.
Genetics loads the gun. Personality and psychology, that's you, aims the gun.
Oh, yeah.
He says, your life experiences pulls the trigger.
Wow. That's sick.
That is so heavy, right? So when he said it, I got the chills. I wrote it down. So again, genetics loads the gun, okay? Personality and psychology aims it. Experiences pulls the trigger.
Wow.
So where is this one here? So the father loads the gun, taught him, okay? Personality and psychology is who?
Colt.
The kid.
Yep.
Yeah.
So what's the life
bully?
experience?
The bully was the
pulls the trigger.
Yeah.
So I mean, I understand you guys are sitting here like, yeah, we should do this and we should do that and we should do this. If that's the factual state, like if that is really what it is, so everybody in the living in the country and South is going to go to jail. You know, there is some of it that's the person, the way they're born. Mm-hmm. You know, a family can have 4 kids, 5 kids, 10 kids, 3 kids, 2 kids. You see, one of them is wired in a little bit like in a different way. So, and then you just have to make sure you pour as much love into the family, as much love into it, so somebody doesn't get tempted to go there. Because when you're angry, what does your brain go when you're angry? You go places.
Rage.
Mm-hmm. And you go, oh, right? You come here. But man, I mean, that experiences, you have to find a way to make sure bullying is not acceptable at all in your school. Anyways, we're at the end of the podcast, guys. Spectator, the oldest British magazine, came to interview me. Apparently, they've been interviewing a bunch of different people asking about me. And this is a hit piece that was done.
Oh, really?
And if you read it, it's I think you should go read it. They actually went and talked to a Trump insider. And I won't even tell you what it is. I want you to read it to see what a Trump insider said. And I think who this Trump insider is. I think you should go read this. It's interesting. It's good, bad, ugly, all in the article. Spectator, the oldest British newspaper in the world since 1828.
People talking.
Wow,
1828. But by the way,
that's not a bad picture, you man. I like that.
Go back to the picture
with the gloves.
But look, what I like is the tie.
Yeah.
Zoom in on the tie.
Oh, PT tie.
Look at that right there.
That's sick.
But by the way, he gave me a little bit of a hair on my beard.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Guys, it's worth
The hair
reading.
looks good though, Patty. I mean, come on. What's going on
Listen,
here?
first of all, when you read it, you see what angle they're taking and the way they're presenting it. Be careful. This guy's coming. You have to read it. Rob, put the link below in the description for people to read. Anyways, guys, for those of you guys that are following closely with this book, The Academy, this Saturday, Fort Lauderdale, I'm going to have one of our trucks show up with gears. So anybody that shows up that day, we may have a surprise for you guys. I can't wait to see all of you. We're going to make a video. Whoever shows up is going to be the video of the book launch. And so show up, hang out with us. We'll sign. I think first come, first serve. I really think they only have 400 copies of books, 200 of The Academy, 100 of Choose Your Enemies Wisely, and 100 of Your Next 5 Moves. First come, first serve. Line up, 12 o'clock, noon. I'll be there, start signing. Can't wait to see all of you guys this Saturday, Barnes & Noble, Fort Lauderdale. God bless everybody. Take care. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
Oh, that's gonna be